So good morning dear students of class 11 and 12. Today for a change, instead of doing grammar, I thought we should also give a touch to comprehension. Now comprehension is something which you have been doing ever since your middle school days or maybe your junior school days. What is comprehension? Comprehension is understanding. I have already provided you with a video earlier about comprehension, and I am sure you have already gone through that video. It was shared with you long time ago. In fact, I had made that video maybe about 5 months ago. So anyway, if necessary, I'll be sharing that video once again with you. But as of now, because we are nearing the month of November, and after that you will have just one more month of class, and after that, particularly class 12, I'm not talking about class 11, class 12 will have very little to do after December except studies. So let us give a touch to comprehension, and for class 11 this is going to help you because this is a kind of revision also for both class 11 and 12. Now see, in question number 4, in your question paper, question number 4 is your comprehension. And comprehension means an unseen passage which could be given from any other source, and generally according to the council provided syllabus, a passage of about 500 words is provided approximately, and you have to read the passage and you have to give the answers to the questions which are based on the passage. Now in Total English book 12, the new edition, this is the passage which you see on your screen. I have taken the very first solved passage here so that I can discuss it for you, and then I can ask you to do the passages which are there in the rest of the book. Now let's look at this passage. Always remember, comprehension is question number 4. It's a permanent question, question number 4. Now the instruction on top says, read the passage given below and answer the questions A, B, C that follow. So that means question number 4 has 3 subparts, A, B and C. Now here is the passage, and you can see that the paragraphs have been numbered. This is the manner in which you will get the passage also in your board question paper. The paragraphs will have numbers. And let's now try to read this passage, and you will observe, as you can see on your screen, there are some words which are printed in bold letters and which are underlined. These are the words which have 2 different meanings. Each of these words have, or rather has, 2 different meanings, and it is used in one particular meaning in the passage, but when the questions are given at the back, at the end of the passage, they ask you to make sentences with the same word using it in a meaning which is different from the one which has been used in the passage. Let this be very clear that these words in bold letters, they have more than one meaning. One meaning has been used here. The other meaning is for you to think and then make a sentence. Using that meaning, but this same word, you have to make sentences. So we'll come to that later on. Let's try to look at the passage and see what the passage says. The pale-faced man peered down the microscope. He was evidently not accustomed to that kind of thing, and held a limp white hand over his disengaged eye. I see very little, he said. Touch this screw, said the bacteriologist. Perhaps the microscope is out of focus for you. So, the first word which we came across in bold letters was limp white hand. What do you suppose the word hand means here? It refers to the hand of a person. Hand. His hand was white. He was nervous, that's why his hand was white. And it was limp, means it was very loose. Not rigid, but limp. Flexible and loose. So anyway, hand refers to a body part or an upper limb of the human body. So that is the meaning. Now let's scroll to paragraph number 3. Now I see, said the visitor. Not so very much to see after all, and yet those little particles, those mere atomies, might multiply and devastate a city. Might. The word might is in bold letters and underlined. What does the word might here possibly mean? Might here refers to a possibility. Might. Could. Quite possible that. This is what might means here. But might also has another meaning. Just as the word hand also has another meaning. That meaning is for you to think. They will not tell you, but you have to use your brain. This is a test for finding out how much vocabulary you have. It's a vocabulary test to test your capacity in vocabulary. How many words in English do you know along with their alternative meanings? That is what they are trying to test. Now let's scroll to number 5, paragraph number 5. What is said here? I suppose, the pale man said with a slight smile, that you scarcely care to have such things about you in the living, in the active state. Living, active state. Something which is alive. Something which is animated or something which has life in it. That's living. Like we are living beings, creatures with life. So living means something which has life inside. That's one meaning, and that's the meaning used here. But you may have to make a sentence with the same word living using another meaning of living. Now what is an alternative meaning of living? That is for you to think. So once again we scroll and we come to the next page. So this was page 25 in unit 1. We come to the next page. A slight gleam of satisfaction, paragraph number 7, appeared momentarily on the face of the pale man. Face of the pale looking man. Face refers to a body part once again. Okay? Face refers to countenance. Countenance or visage. These are alternative synonyms of face. Countenance means face. Visage means face. You have come across the word visage when you did Merchant of Venice in class 10, class 9 and 10. Remember, with bleared visages, the Dardanian wives, they watch the outcome of the exploit. Remember when Bassanio reaches Belmont and participates in the lottery of the 3 caskets? You came across this word, visage. Visage means face. So face here refers to a body part, but there is one more meaning of face. You have to think. I am repeatedly saying you have to think. So now there are 4 words here in bold letters and underlined. There are no other words in bold letters or underlined. Now let's try to see. I am going to first of all I am going straight away to these 4 words. That is question number 2 in subsection A. Instead of question number 1, I am skipping to question number 2. I will come back to question number 1. So just look at this. Hand in line number 2, might in line number 7, living in line number 11, and face in line number 15. So what could be the alternative meanings of these words? Now see the instruction given on top. For each of the words given below, write a sentence of at least 10 words. So the sentence which you make should have 10 words. That is the minimum word limit. It can have more, but it should not fall short of 10 words. If it does, then you will lose marks. Keep that in mind. So, make a sentence of at least 10 words using the same word unchanged in form. See how it has been given in bold letters. You are not allowed to change the form of these words. What do you mean by changing the form? For example, hand. Instead of hand, you cannot make it handling or handed. Okay? Similarly, instead of living, you cannot change it into live and make a sentence using live. No. Instead of face, you cannot make it facing. Instead of might, you cannot make it mighty. It has to remain the same, which means hand will remain as hand, but the meaning, see what is said further, but with a different meaning from that which it carries in the passage. So we have already discussed the meanings as used in the passage. Hand refers to upper limb, body part. Might refers to a possibility, could be. Then living refers to something which has life inside it. And face refers to countenance or visage, or the part of the human body, the upper part of the human body. So those were the meanings in which these 4 words have been used in the passage. But now you have been asked to make use of these words to make sentences of your own. 3 conditions. What are the 3 conditions? First of all, 10 words minimum in each sentence. Second, don't change the form of this word or these words. They should remain exactly the same when you use them in your sentence. And third, meaning should be different, not the ones which are used in the passage. If you can fulfill these 3 criteria, then you can score full marks. Now see, they have done it for you. Inside this box, the answers are given. Inside the red box, see. Do not expect that somebody will hand you success on a platter. What's a platter? It's a kind of plate. Don't expect somebody will hand you. Hand here refers to give by hand. So giving, it does not refer to body part anymore, but it refers to giving. Hand you, hand is used as a verb. It's no longer a noun, and it's not even used in the same meaning, because here handing something means giving something. Number 2, he pushed the box with all his might. Here might stands for strength. He pushed the box with all his might. Whatever strength he could manage to apply. So might means strength. But it did not budge. Budge means move. Number 3, the cost of living, staying alive. The cost of living, the cost of sustaining your life, meaning is changed. That was a living creature, one which had life inside, and this means to stay alive. The cost of living has risen sharply even in remote villages. And the last one, look at it. All the rooms in her grandmother's house face the sea. Face means are towards, are turned towards or face. I can also make other sentences, not necessarily these. For example, with hand, you can make a sentence of your own of 10 words. Just see how many words are there in each of these sentences. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. In the first sentence, there are 12 words. In the second sentence, he pushed the box, 4 words. With all his might, 4 words. But it did not budge, 5 words. So, 4 plus 4, 8 plus 5, 13. So, more than 10. It has to be 10 or more than 10. meaning is already different. Then the next sentence also has 10 words or more than 10 words. In this way, all the 4 sentences. Now face. You can face any danger if you don't take adequate precautions. You can face any danger if you do not take adequate precautions. 12 words. So in this way, you have to make the sentences maintaining 3 conditions, use it in a meaning different, write minimum 10 words per sentence. Sentence should be grammatically right for that also, otherwise you will lose marks. And then the word form should not change. If it is given as hand, it should be hand, not handling. If it's given as might, it has to be used as might. So in this way. Now let's move to question number 1. Here what they have done is, given below are 4 words and phrases. Find the words which have a similar meaning in the passage. Here are some words and phrases. You have to look for a word in the passage which means this. In other words, to put it in simpler terms, meanings are given, find the word. It's like a game. You have to search for the appropriate word which means this. So the first one is, looked closely at something. Let's scroll up. Looked closely at something. The pale-faced man peered down the microscope. He was evidently not accustomed to that kind of thing and held a limp white hand over his disengaged eye. I see very little, etc., etc., etc. Do we see any word here? Looked closely at something. See, the meaning is given here, or rather the word is given here. Answer is peered. You get it in the first line itself. Then the next phrase is used to. Accustomed. See where accustomed is given. You have to search. Here it is done for you, but you have to search. So he was evidently not accustomed to that kind of thing. Also given in the very first line. You can find both the words in the first line. Then coming to the next word. Not being used. Not being used. Okay, something which is not being used. Disengaged eye. Limp. Can it be limp? Can it be disengaged? Let's try to see what the word is. Okay. Disengaged. Answer is disengaged. And then destroy completely, devastate. Also given in the passage. So in this way, you have to find out the words. The meanings are given. You have to look for the words. So that is your first question. And the second one, just now I explained that the words are taken from the passage, given in bold letters so that you can easily find them, plus line numbers are mentioned, and then you have to make sentences maintaining 3 conditions. So this is very, very vital. And then you have questions, direct questions on the passage. See, the question is given, what did the pale-faced man say on seeing the little particles under the microscope? What reply did the bacteriologist give? The pale-faced man said, see, you should begin your answer according to the question. And remember, answers should be written in your own words with your own expressions. Don't copy exact lines or phrases from the passage. Maybe 1 or 2 words could be common, but it should be written by you with your own effort and own expressions. The pale-faced man said that, see, beginning the answer in accordance with the question. What did the pale-faced man say? The pale-faced man said. So you should begin an answer like this. And then there is a second part. What reply did the bacteriologist give? So the bacteriologist replied that those particles had been stained and killed and therefore could not do any harm. It is always preferable that if there are 2 parts in a question, then write in 2 separate paragraphs when you write the answer, so that it's easier for your examiner to identify which is the answer to the first part and which is the answer to the second part. Make 2 paragraphs. Here they have not made, but this is my advice. Do it always in literature as well as in language. Always make separate paragraphs for writing the answers of separate parts of the question. So in this way, the rest of the questions and the answers are given here. So this was a solved question number 4 for you from the comprehension. Now I am going to give you some task from your textbook, and in case of class 11 I'll be providing you with the PDF, so you can do it, and after that I'll discuss the answers. So I hope I have been able to make you understand how to go about these vocabulary questions in the comprehension passage and also the direct questions. So thank you very much.